Good evening. Welcome to the Mind of STEM channel, where you get your daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. My name is Leon Jones, and in this segment, I'm going to do a short video on submittals. So, the title of tonight's video is What is a submittal for construction? What is a submittal for construction? Now, let me share my screen and give you some information on what a submittal is, because it is very, very important. Now, of course, being in the construction industry, no one likes having to create submittals, and those outside of the industry might wonder what a submittal really is. So what I can tell you is that most information around submittals is not about the submittal itself, it's about the process and how to improve processes surrounding submittals. However, in this commentary, I'm going to answer this core question. What is a submittal and why is it used in construction? So here we go. When we talk about submittals, who submits submittals? Well, you architects could submit submittals. And I'm talking about the architects who are working for a contractor. Your engineers could submit submittals. But generally, when we talk about submittals, they're basically documents, samples, and other information that must be delivered to the consulting architects, or let's say a government architect, engineer, and consultings, more on a project before work even starts on the project. So those submittals are absolutely crucial or critical for any project, because when it comes to construction projects, they run on specific plans and, of course, specifications. Now, using the drawings provided, subcontractors have to say what material and more they're going to use. Now, the project manager or construction manager adds these to the project manual. Now, the project manual can be thousands of pages, but it includes important information like drawings, products selected, quality assurance, and testing information, documentation, and more. Now, when it comes to submittals, there are common types of submittals. Now, the different types of submittals that engineers and architectures or architects might want subcontractors to follow, and the information is going to be needed based on the type of submittal and standards used. However, these are the more common submittals and information needed. Let's talk about samples. Now, samples are examples of the products that will be used in construction. And this happens because the contractor will choose what they want to use in construction, and the construction manager takes examples for analysis. These could be specific samples of soil, paint, or more. Now, the samples offer the engineers and designers a chance to make final aesthetic choices for the whole projects. Now, there are some examples that you. Sometimes it will be a mock-up. Now, a recent and famous example of a mock-up would be the 30-foot border wall mock-ups erected in San Diego. Now, while these were created to showcase what specific contractors would do if given the contract, the principle is basically the same. Mock-ups are physical examples of what might be constructed. Now, we get into product data. And it's very important that you understand product data, because product data is basically technical information about the materials usually provided by the manufacturer. Now, this can include dimensions, materials, characteristics for use, performance, warranty, and of course more. But it can also be the product manuals, blueprints, and other documentation. And all product data is broad. These are more informational since it helps the construction manager, engineers, and architects determine if the products proposed will work with the overall design of the building. Now, a lot of this is based on whether the materials will hold up to the set building standards. Now, here's one that a number of us in the construction industry understand: shop drawings. Now, shop drawings, blueprints, diagrams, drawings, schedules, and others are classified as shop drawings. Now, these shop drawings illustrate the work that will be performed by that subcontractor, and it will showcase the work that will go into the project. Now, the standards, of course, will differ based on the project and who is managing it. However, what is needed should be included in the contract. Now, again, I've given you a few types of submittals. Now, I'm going to introduce the construction submittal process. Now, to ensure all project participants' accountability and help the project stay on track, submittals can be a useful tool. And here are some example steps for preparation and execution. Now, for construction, there is a pre-construction phase. Now, the pre-construction phase of a project is just as important to the submittal process as any other phase. Now, in general, the pre-construction conference gives everyone a chance to ask questions and discuss the project by bringing everyone together. And when I talk about everyone, I'm talking about who is going to be on the team. Now, the submittal process can and should be clarified at the meeting because it ensures that everyone understands the standards. And as a whole, it makes delays and mistakes less likely and provides everyone with valuable information. Then we get into the schedule. And it is important to set a submittal schedule. Why? Because the schedule will help keep the project on track, because the architect or engineer has so many hours in a day to ensure that the materials used will be stable for the project. And since not every submittal needs to be completed before construction starts, this helps space out their time. Now, they don't want to do submittals purely on a first come, first served basis. And if the engineer or architect doesn't approve of the materials, it gives them time to either resubmit with different materials, or it gives them time to purchase the materials. Then we get into the submittal prep. Now, with the schedule set, subcontractors should begin the submittal process. Now, before they start the process, they need to gather the necessary documentation and sometimes even samples. For some things, it will be very simple, like getting color approval, while other areas, they might have a different approval process. Regardless, everyone must submit all required documentation outlined at the pre-construction meeting. And then when that's all concluded, last but not least, there is a review process. Now, the review process will be done on the architect or engineer side. They will look at the materials list and all supporting documentation to determine the effect of the material on the project. Why does this happen? Very simple. This is to prevent issues down the line and to protect the structural integrity of the building and, of course, prevent reworks. Now, reworks cost a lot of money and time. And when you are dealing in the construction process, you want to make sure that a project is built to project specifications and documents. Project specifications and documents. And of course, plans as well. Plans are documents because after the project is concluded, there will be as-builts. Now, as-builts basically come for a project. Let's say you have a plot of land. You're going to have a plan of that plot of land. Well, the plan might have an existing building or it might not have an existing building. But an as-built is very important because when a building goes onto that plot of land, you're going to see where that building is in reference to that plot of land by drawing it on to the plans with that plot of land. In other words, an as-built is something that is built on a plot of land, or it could be built on a site where an existing building was, but you are seeing what's in that location after a building is built. And it's very important because, again, when we deal with submittals, once a submittal is approved or disapproved, then the contractor must resubmit with new materials, or they can get to work. Now, again, there's different types of submittals depending on where you work. Like if you work for the Army Corps of Engineers, they require a safety submittal. They also require an environmental submittal. They require a QC submittal. But nonetheless, when you're doing projects, you must have submittals because once again, when we deal with a submittal, they're basically documents, samples, and other information that must be delivered to the architects and engineers and consultants and more on a project before work even starts. Again, submittals are absolutely crucial. And again, when we deal with submittals, submittals go through different phases: pre-construction, schedule, submittals, prep, and of course, review. Now that concludes this commentary on submittals. If you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. And if you're looking for more news, political, and social content, you check my other channel out called the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show. And I am also doing live streams. And of course, Blog Talk Radio Show is still out there. I'm working on getting that back up as well. And of course, this channel, the Mind of STEM channel. I want everybody to like, share, and subscribe to this channel because here on the Mind of STEM, I give you a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. Now, if you can't find me on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, you can locate me on Twitter and LinkedIn for my Mind of STEM videos. And if you're looking for the 401 Talk Zone Radio Show videos, you can locate me on Twitter, MeWe, and of course, Parler. And once again, I thank you for listening to the Mind of STEM channel, where you get a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. I want you to all have a wonderful and gracious evening.